There seems to be a lot of debate on Ancestry blogs or Ancestry Facebook pages about the use of ThruLines, and many people claim that ThruLines are useless. So I thought I'd make this quick video so we can understand how ThruLines work and why people may feel that way, and show it can be a useful tool within your research. Rather than show directly from Ancestry, I'm going to use this PowerPoint presentation because I'm using Ancestry. I may inadvertently show DNA, so I'd rather make sure I've got a clean presentation that way. I like to think of ThruLines just as another kind of hen. It's very easy to get sucked into it too much. We don't complain if a hen is incorrect, so let's not complain too much if a ThruLine is incorrect. Because ThruLines are based on trees, and they're the trees that are mapped to your DNA matching. So my DNA matches have trees, and those trees are aligned to my tree for those particular DNA matches. That means we're taking something that's very reliable, very understandable, DNA matching, and overlaying it with trees that could contain errors. And this is why some people, I believe, think that ThruLines don't work correctly. But let's go into a little bit more depth. First, let's understand what you need to do within Ancestry to make the use of ThruLines. You need to take an Ancestry DNA test and have the results live, and within those results opt to be seen and see other people's results. You need to link your family tree to the DNA test, the family tree you want to use for ThruLines. And this family tree has got to be public or private searchable. It can't be private. There needs to be some depth to your family tree as well. It needs to go back at least 4 generations. And after you do all this, it'll take a couple of days for it to initialize and for it to bring up the ThruLine matrix. So when you're looking at Ancestry, within the DNA tab on the main screen, the ThruLines tab is about halfway down. And when you click on ThruLines, and we won't see this so much in my screens that I'm showing you, there will be a filter, and you can filter out the relatives that you're looking at ThruLines. It can be all ancestors, potential ancestors, new ones, maternal, paternal. So you can play around with that if you're looking at different groups of people. Typically you'll be using ThruLines, I would expect, as part of a planned research for a particular family. So it's probably not something you're going to just bounce in and out. It needs to be part of a research plan. On the left hand side here is what your ThruLines will look like. It's a matrix with your parents at the top, grandparents below them, great grandparents and so on, so different levels. And within these boxes, as you click on the box, it will tell you how many DNA matches there are for that particular relative. And it can be 0, or it can be a fairly high number. And in this case, I've chosen one of my relatives, my second great grandfather, who's showing that he has 4 DNA matches linked to him. So I have 4 DNA matches that share Frederick George Glasson. So I can click on this grey box and it will bring up another screen. It'll bring up an Ancestry hierarchical family tree. One thing to notice immediately is that some of the boxes are in white and some of the boxes in green, and some pink circles at the bottom. The pink circles are in fact the people I have the DNA matches with. So OW, MW, LE and GS. The white boxes are people already in my tree. And the green boxes are people that Ancestry is suggesting could be my tree based on the trees of the people that I share matches with. So I share Harriet and Joan with JS, but for LE, MW and OW, there was a partial hierarchical tree headed by Frederick G. Glasson, 1879 to 1925. That doesn't appear in my tree, and this would be my half-great granduncle, according to the ThruLine. Now this is just a potential match. It could be that my tree is incorrect. It could be that my matches trees are incorrect. Or it could be that this is the same person as somebody in my tree, but the details are such that Ancestry thinks this is another person. But it's certainly worth evaluating this, because I have 3 matches that seem to all roll up to Frederick G. Glasson. So what I would do now is I will evaluate Frederick G. Glasson, and as I evaluate these ThruLines, I normally work top down. So I'll click on the evaluate key of Frederick. And this would bring a screen up on the right hand side, or a box on the right hand side. That'll show me which member trees have Frederick George Glasson with them. There's 2 trees there. And I can click next again and get another box pops up. And this is where Ancestry allow me just to copy Frederick George Glasson from either of those trees directly into my tree. And this is something, along with hints, along with potential ancestors, I would say you never ever copy anybody directly into your tree. Always manually add them after your own research. So I won't be clicking the buttons next to Frederick George, but I will be looking at the trees that contains Frederick George, see if there's any information I can take from there. So I will click only the tree rather than the button. And when I do click on the tree, it will bring me up another box that gives me details of the tree owner, the tree, some records, in fact a subset of the profile of the person within that tree. Again, there's a button at the bottom. Obviously Ancestry would really like me to add this to my tree, but I'm not going to do it. I'm actually just going to click on the name here, and this will take me to Frederick George Glasson profile within the tree Ryan Askew Thomas G. Gordon tree. And now I can do my own research. I can decide whether this person is a potential relative of mine. I can look at the sources. So in a nutshell, it allows me to research and then bring this person in. Now once I've done my research, I could choose to add this person to my tree, but I would still do it manually. So that's how ThruLines work. It takes your DNA matches and matches the trees that are connected to your DNA matches with your trees. Now we can understand why many people see errors. The trees themselves that we're looking at could contain errors, or it could be that it's researched in a completely different way. So I think have patience with this. It's certainly a great tool to point you in the right direction, but like hints and like potential relatives, it's not an area where you need to be copying in somebody directly from an ancestry suggestion. So I hope you found this short presentation useful and helpful in the understanding of ThruLines. If you do, please like it, and feel free to browse some of the other videos I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you.